Is it working? Is it working properly now? Are we live? We're live. Okay. So, hopefully this actually sends out... Hey, Star Calls. Or Star Call. Hello. There we go. And we are using a completely new encoder, by the way, today, guys. One of the things I had to do was go and actually fix my encoder, and actually to get it. I had to technically get a new one. Now, you guys can hear me, okay, right? Wait, how is the stream offline? Hold on. Trying to figure out if the stream actually died on itself or something. Okay, so the stream is still technically live for us. Or at least on my side, it's still live. And if you guys are having any trouble with getting into the live stream, do me a favor and just go to youtube.com/Kitthesoulless/live, and it'll let you in. Cool. Okay, so I've been telling you guys that I'm going to be doing a YouTube Q&A for a little while now, and here might be the little slight weirdness of this one. This might be, because of the encoder I'm using, I might actually be the one getting a delay. So, bear with me just a little bit. So how this is going to work is you guys ask questions, literally anything you want, and I will do my best to answer whatever you guys ask. So, ask away. And folks, feel free to feel free to let the questions get as personal as you would like. So long as they're not inappropriate, I will answer them. Oh right, Dallas, hello. Add moderator. What shirt am I wearing right now? Okay, so that's actually a pretty easy one to explain. The shirt I'm wearing is one that I got from BLFC, or Biggest Little Fur Con. And it's the art shirt for becoming a sponsor for the convention. And these were actually custom made for the convention. It's got this image on one side, and on the reverse, I don't know if I can get this on the screen, but in the reverse, it's, there you go. I don't know if that actually got in the thing. And yes, I am wearing skull pajamas, and my butt is just a little sweaty. Kitthesoulless asks, what YouTubers do you look up to? Honestly, if I had to choose, I'd say probably Jacksepticeye and Markiplier, weirdly enough. For a lot of reasons, but one in particular is both of them actually helped me through an interesting time in my life. There was a point in time where I was dealing with depression, and literally getting up and turning on YouTube and watching them kept me from doing other things like, you know, just laying in bed all day or going out and doing something stupid. So I kind of want my channel to be like that for other people. But I'm pretty certain I'm never going to get as big as either of them. Again, that could also be my I am tiny syndrome becoming a thing. Anyways, what made me want to become a furry? Okay, so that one's another really, really good question, and the best way to answer it is to show you this. This kind of thing. I am very much a fan of the artwork that furries make. I'm a fan of pretty much the anthropomorphized art style, and that's... There we go. For a second, that didn't want to go back up on the wall. So what made me want to become furry is I've always been a fan of the anthropomorphized art style. Even from when I was a little kid, and I didn't know what it was, or what it was called, or I really didn't know there was a subculture, or a fandom, or whatever you want to call it, connected to it, but when I was a kid, I was a really, really big fan of Disney. In fact, one of my favorite, movies was Balto. Kitthesoulless asks, where's your brother? My brother doesn't actually live with me, so right now he's at his house, and he's probably gonna end up coming on the stream. I'm not certain. But here's hoping he will. Mr. Cool asks, do you like horror games and creepypastas? Both of them, actually. Horror games have been my bread and butter ever since I started playing games. Ever since I found a console that could do a good horror game back in the SNES days, I've always loved them. As for creepypastas, I do like them because it's interesting to see what people can come up with when they want to be creepy. In particular, one of my favorite creepypastas is the Russian sleep experiment one. And it's really messed up. GD Infernus. Why did you need untested medication when you were a kid? You don't have to answer this. Actually, that's a thing I do kind of want to answer, and the answer is I didn't actually need them. My parents were told by people who were supposed to have my best interest in mind. My parents were told flat out, he needs this or he's going to essentially keep being the rambunctious kid that he is. They told my parents this when I was 6. They tried to tell my parents that when I was 6 years old, it wasn't that I was just a kid, but that I had attention hyperactive or hyper deficit disorder or some shit. It's referred to as ADHD. And honestly, this is one of the reasons why there are pretty much unwritten rules now stating that medical practitioners should not be diagnosing kids with ADD, is because a kid always is going to have symptoms of ADD because they're a kid. They're hyper. They've got a lot of energy. Their bodies metabolize things like sugars better. They are more active than adults are. It's like ADD, but it's a lot worse. It's kind of like the description that my doctor gave to my mother, and I will never forget this one, is think of ADD, but on speed. So they convinced my mother that I had ADHD, put me on medications for ADHD, which made me depressed. Then flat out said, well, when we're fixing ADD, depression is usually a side effect here. Give him these pills. They'll help even him out. Those helped even me out when I was depressed, but they made me psychotic, so they gave me an antipsychotic. And the list went on until I was literally taking 13 pills a day by the age of 7. And what my doctors failed to realize is one of the biggest side effects of being on that cocktail was it was messing up my eyes to the point where I now can't see very well during the day. And from age 7 until, and I actually still suffer from them, I've had headaches all my life. And I don't just mean headaches, I mean migraines. They've literally put me in a permanent state of pain, putting me on all these medications. But onto a less messed up topic. Another thing, by the way, Theo, if people come in begging for subs, delete their comment first and warn them. If they don't stop, time them out. If you have to time them out more than twice, ban them. Do you like Five Nights at Freddy's? I do like it, I've never played it. And that one was actually asked by Mr. Cool. That's cool spelled with a K. What color was your originally? I don't know how to answer that, because I honestly don't know what the question is. What? What color was what originally? Oh, wait, what color was my hair originally? Is that what you're asking? Oh, yeah, my hair originally was brown with red highlights, due to the fact that one side of my family is, I think, British, and the other side of my family is Irish, and, well, I wound up with dark brown hair, but with a beard that had really freaking bright red highlights. So, GD Infernus just asked a really good question, but there's actually 2 of them there. So, what's my favorite Pokemon? This is actually one that's been asked way more than anything else I've ever had to answer since starting my live streams. It is the most common question asked of me, and I actually have a couple. But across all of the generations of Pokemon, my two of my favorites, and I have about 10 favorites, and I'm not including evolutions here, because if I like one, I'm usually going to like all the evolutions of it. So, that being my 2 top ones, other than Mew, which, because I think Mew's everybody is, it's just flat out adorable, is Ninetales and Fennekin. So those are actually my top 2. Again, not including Mew. I don't count Mew because it's just too adorable to count. After them and their evolutions, though, my favorite from a gameplay standard was Sneasel. And the reason being is because in Pokemon Crystal, you could actually get a Sneasel that was really, really, really hold on. Kitthesoulless, I'll answer you on the chat here. As for what Pokemon is most like me, I really don't know. I can usually say what Pokemon I'm like, I guess, but with the fact that the Pokemon lore has always changed, and a lot of it's gotten really, really dark, folks. A lot of the Pokemon lore has gotten really dark, really messed up, and so I really don't know. That's not really one I can answer properly. Do I have any cool tattoos? I do not have any cool tattoos. Mostly the things on my body that have cool stories to them are the scars on my body. And it's because I've lived in a pretty interesting life. And by that I do not mean that I have like these huge, completely body-changing scars, but you can't really even see them anymore. But I actually used to have, like, a good example, a scar right here that was, like, from here down. I was on a bike with me, I was out biking with my grandpa, and something got caught in the spokes of my bike and sent me over the handlebars and skidding down a gravel path. I had literal chunks of gravel embedded into my skin, and my grandma had to surgically remove them. And by surgically remove, I mean she actually took the equivalent of a scalpel, I think it's called an X-Acto knife, and cut the pieces out of my arm. How did I meet my fiancée? That one's actually really kind of a messed up story, honestly. How I met my fiancée was where to start? How I met my fiancé was, prior to meeting him, I was actually dating this guy, and it had been for 3 years, by the name of, God, I can't remember his name, Niles R. Connor. And it turns out that this guy was abusive, not physically, but mentally and emotionally. And how me and my current fiancé met is we found out that we were both being cheated on by the same person. Essentially, he was the other person. So we got to talking. At first it was, I was going to confront him. I was mad. I was really upset. I was going to ask him if he knew what was going on. If he did, how he could do something like that to somebody and be okay with it. It turns out he didn't know. In fact, the guy we were with, Niles, was actually using him for the fact that Niles didn't have a job, but he did, so he had money. Niles wanted him to buy him stuff left and right. That's actually one of the reasons why I kind of want to strangle my fiancé sometimes for some of the gifts he gives me, because it does bug me a little bit. A good example, he bought me this really, really, really beautiful pocket watch. But anyways. So, we essentially met through the guy that was stringing us both along. And one thing leads to another, we get to talking, and we find out that we have a lot, and I mean a lot, in common. So we found out we had a lot in common, so we decided, hey, let's ditch this fool and see what it's like to just hang out together. And at first we were just friends. I honestly wouldn't call him my boyfriend. I wouldn't even say that we were together for the first 3 years that we knew each other, because I really didn't want to get hurt again. But one thing led to another. 12 years later, we're still together, we're engaged, and we're currently planning when the wedding's going to be. So, just think of that particular story whenever you get into a weird situation where it feels like the world is against you, or it feels like you'll never find somebody, because, trust me, even in the shittiest situations out there, you can still find somebody. On a side note, if you are being abused in any way, shape, or form with the person you're with, leave. Don't even try to make it right. Don't even try to work things out. If they are abusive and you've tried to fix it once and it happens again, even if it's just emotionally, get out. Because it leads you down a path you don't need to be going down. It can be really, really, really bad. Wait, Savage Grandma? What? I just saw Savage Grandma on the chat and I just had to look over. What advice would I give to somebody... what advice would I give to somebody who wants to gain subs? Honestly, it depends on what kind of channel you have, but if you're a gaming channel like ours, daily content will help you get onto the search and get noticed a lot more. Activity on your channel helps a lot. That's actually one reason why I initially started doing live streams, is because it's a constant activity on the channel. And it really does kind of help to be able to interact with people, well, close enough to face-to-face. So. GD Infernus, again, asks, what's the most interesting... Oh, correction. So to answer your question, just keep your channel active. If you can't upload every day, make sure you have a schedule. Like, a good example, I think it's one of my favorite channels, Team Edge, uploads Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So make sure you have a schedule. Make sure you upload everything at the right time of day, and just see what works for you. Just make sure that you don't focus as much on, you know, how many subs do I have, as opposed to, do I enjoy what I'm doing? Because normally if you enjoy what you're doing, you're charismatic, you actually like what's going on, chances are people are going to be drawn to that. So, GD Infernus, what's the most interesting item in my room? Hey, what's up, Valor? There's a lot of stuff around my room. And some of it I can't actually put on the stream, but hold on. Most interesting thing in my room. Again, that's so freaking subjective. But hold on. I'm actually going to show you guys something that has never been seen, and I actually never initially wanted it to be seen, but it is, in my opinion, the most interesting thing in my room because of the story behind it. So, give me 1 second. I'm going to go grab it. Hello again, folks. Okay. So the most interesting thing in my room, as of right now, would have to be this thing. And I'll show you guys what it is in just a second. But bear this in mind, this thing was not finished. and until I get better equipment, probably never will be. But what this is this was my first attempt at designing a fursuit head. Now, the problem with this particular head is the way it was designed. One, it was supposed to be able to have a moving jaw. I can see you better out of the jaw than I can the eyes, by the way, because there's a giant... From there to about there is a dead zone, right in the center of my vision. And I know this thing is creepy as all hell, too. This thing will eventually become a toonie fur head, or toonie fursuit head. But I don't currently have the stuff to be able to finish it properly. So, that being said, kind of a thing. Hold on just a second, folks. Yes.
Mr. Neighbor needs you to do the breaker.
Hey, right in the middle of the live stream. Okay, hold on just a second. Hello, folks. My phone is deciding to try to be weird. Guys, I'm gonna have to be right back. There's a lot of good questions in here. When I come back, I have to go flip a breaker really quick because apparently the power in one part of my house just went out. So talk amongst yourselves. I will be right back. I should only take like, I'd say maybe at tops a minute. So sit tight. And actually, I've got to get my shoes on first because I don't want to try walking outside with a bunch of black widows in the area in my backyard at night without something protecting my feet. Ah! That was bad. Anyways, right back. Ah! I'm back, folks. Sort of. Ah! Sorry that took so long. Ah! There we go. And I'm back. Actually, the most interesting thing in my room, again, like I said, is subjective. Somebody just said the mini fridge, and I've got to tell you guys an interesting story. Sorry about that. Not big to be staring at my crotch. That's actually not a stuffed dog with sunglasses. That's actually a fennec fox with sunglasses. And, by the way, folks, we're not sponsored by this company. I just needed a drink. It's hot in here. Starcall wants to be modded. Okay. You've actually been with us for a long time, so yes. Oh, wow. Okay, so, Cobb Theft. This guy is, actually, I think I've mentioned him on my streams once before. He's a friend of mine from back when I was in junior high. He's really, really interesting. And actually, I met him in junior high, not high school. And he actually knew me back during my stoner days. So, anyways, but dude, it's really good to have you on the channel, man. His name is Andrew, though he goes by Zanzibar in the furry community, and well, apparently he used to make, or I don't know if he still does. But last time I heard from him, he was doing anti-feminist and anti-SJW videos here on YouTube. So, I don't know how well that went for you, dude, but here's hoping it went better than what I thought it would. Hey, Game Fam, welcome to the Q&A. Okay, so, oh, cool. So, if you guys like that kind of content, seriously, go check out his channel from time to time, because he's really interesting. His personality is a little bit weird, and for kids, might not exactly be as family-friendly as he could be. But that's just kind of part of, him being him. Hey, cool. So let's check out some of the, questions here. Okay, so whoever has another question for me, feel free to just resubmit it. Hey, I'm Meow Meow. Welcome to the screen. Welcome to the stream. Actually, you can't because I no longer use Skype. Skype actually was discontinued. It was essentially discontinued for anything other than Windows. Do I play any instruments? I actually do play woodwinds. In particular, I have, actually, I have my old recorder from school. I'm not going to play it on stream, don't worry, I'm really, really bad at it. I'm actually better at playing what's called the ocarina, and in particular, an inline ocarina, which is, well, yeah, look it up. The inline ocarina, if I could freaking figure out where mine is, I would play something for you, but I currently don't have it. But no, I do woodwinds because I'm not really that great with my fingers. And what I mean by not great with my fingers is string instruments, I can't keep my hands like this for any length of time. And, well, the only kind of instruments I can play are woodwinds, and weirdly enough, I can play the piano. Not great, but still pretty good. Yes, Pokemon Go will be happening later on. Hey, Jonathan, welcome to the Q&A. Bobby C actually got it right. And I kid you not, if ever I do a stream where I'm doing ocarina music, please do not ask me to do the Zelda themes. You would not believe how many people ask me to play Zelda themes. It drives me nuts. How's my health? Good, for the most part. Anyways, next question. Valor, you're a smartass. Pardon the language. And hey guys, do me a favor. You might have a habit of trolling the stream. Do not jump on Dragonflies when he first enters the chat. That's mean. So, who has another question, or are we going to be going to some of the ones from Twitter, or from, actually, Fefe has a question, so Andrew has a question. Well, thank you, Dragonfly. Okay, so this is a question I'm supposed to read out loud, but one, reading it out loud is going to hurt my brain, and two, I have no idea how to answer it. The question is, has anyone really been far as decided to use even go want to do look more like? What? Sorry to answer your question with another question, but what the hell? I really think that was just gibberish. Knowing Andrew, that's actually what it was. And I think the response he's currently getting on the chat is why he asked it. And that'll give you an idea of what his humor is like, folks. It's one of the reasons I have a strange sense of humor. You know, every now and then you'll hear me, "Ah!" But that's actually something I picked up from him in junior high. And, seriously, folks, you know the whole thing on YouTube about how, with how YouTubers will actually try their damnedest to make jokes about their own flaws to make it seem like it doesn't bother them, or to make it less, impactful when somebody else makes fun of them for it? Well, Andrew kind of used to do that, too. A good example is in junior high, somebody called him lazy. He looked at them and he had a pretty bad lazy eye. I don't know if he's gotten it fixed, or if it's still as bad as it was, or better or worse, or what as it was in junior high. But anytime somebody in junior high called him lazy, he would look at him, grin, and say, "Nope, just my eye." What's my favorite video game? This was, Jonathan asking that one. Too lazy to get a lazy eye fixed. I'm sorry, this is funny, man. So what is my favorite video game? I actually answered this one in a prior stream already, too, but I don't so much have a favorite video game as a favorite game series. And that would actually be, technically referred to as the, Kingsfield series, but it's a little further than that, because the Kingsfield series moves into both the Dark Souls and the Demon Souls series. That's literally my favorite series of games for the moment. But a close second would honestly have to be, God, what was it called? Dust and Elysian Tale. That was an absolutely beautiful game. Do I like Naruto? I haven't watched all the Naruto episodes. I probably never will. I don't know. I might. But the first couple seasons, yeah, I liked it. It was an interesting show. It got a little convoluted when they got into the freaking tournament or something to go up in rank as a ninja. Dude, Bobby C, you remember Kingsfield? Seriously, it blew my mind when I realized that Dark Souls and Kingsfield are the same freaking series. If you go back in the lore and look at Demon Souls and Dark Souls, the kingdoms of Lordran, and for the life of me I can't remember the one from Demon Souls. The Demon Souls game was set in another kingdom, so to speak. In Kingsfield, there was a mention of two warring kingdoms, one of which was referred to as Lordran, and the other one had the name of the kingdom from the Dark Souls, or the Demon Souls series. They're connected. They're hugely connected. Even though in Kingsfield the mention to Lordran and the other kingdom were just absolutely tiny snippets. It was something that could be seriously overlooked. It was a single line and a specific item. But it ties all three series together. Do I read comics? Yes and no. I read furry webcomics, weirdly enough. Things like House Pets, Skin Deep, Doc Rat. One of my favorites of those is actually House Pets, but I have read through its over 1,000 pages 5 times now. Another good one is, believe it or not, the one made by Markiplier's brother, which is called Two Kinds, which is a really, really fun comic. Sadly, I can't check my Telegram at the moment because I'm kind of on my phone. So, Game Fam, this will answer your question. You got his name a little wrong. It is Kenshin Hamura. His title is Hirokishi Batosai. That answer your question? By the way, his question was, do you like Kenshin Hamura Batosai? If so, name the anime that resembles that, please. The anime I know these from is called Samurai X, and it is one of my favorite anime OAVs in the world. Mostly because it's bloody as all hell, and the storyline behind it is so deep. I honestly love Kenshin's master because of the way he sees the world. I won't get too terribly into that because it can be a little depressing for some people who are not used to that way of thinking, though. You're not really going to find anything similar to that, sadly. Yonatan Bensaman, or Bensaman. Did you think you would have 1,300? Do you think you would have 319? Sorry, my brain. Subs by now? Honestly, no. My original goal when I started YouTube was to get my first 100 subscribers within a year. That was my original goal. Okay, dragonflies? I'm deleting that message. I'm not going to read it out loud. To answer your question, yes. But drop that topic. Please. I really don't want to have to kick you out again. And Graham Hatcher, bad idea to start talking like that. So, back to the question I was originally answering. My original goal was to reach 100 subscribers in a year, because when I first started YouTube, I was told flat out, your first 100 subscribers is the hardest thing you will ever accomplish. And I've gotten to 319 now in less than a year. By the way, bye, Graham. Thank you. Do I work? At the moment, I am a freelance writer, but it doesn't really pay all that much. I think I've managed to grab in the last month about $30. Medusa apparently went from 0 to 2K subs in 2 months. Lucky! It's taken me 7 months, or actually 8 months now, to get this far. But, honestly, oh well. Each of us grow at our own pace, and honestly, Medusa, if you manage that in just 2 months, holy Christ, you must have a decent channel. Jonathan Bensimon, what's your religion? Complicated. So, my religion is very complicated, and it's, for lack of a better word, it's close to Wicca, I guess. But for, the sake of time, I'm not going to go into that subject tonight. Okay. For the record, Andrew, one, ew. Two, this is very much a family-friendly channel. Please don't say things like that. That was gross. Medusa, I know what you mean. Actually, the last 163 subscribers that we've gotten has been mostly from Pokemon Go, and it really scares the hell out of me that that's the case, because it makes me wonder, when I put Pokemon Go aside for a little while, am I going to suddenly rapidly start losing subs, or are you guys going to stick around and actually see what kind of content I put out on a daily basis? That is really one of my biggest fears with YouTube, is that people will get to know me for just one game, and if I ever stop playing that one game, I'll suddenly start losing subscribers left and right. And I actually put we put Pokemon Go away for a couple days, and in 3 days, or in 2 days, lost 3 subscribers, so kind of led some credence to that, or to that particular fear. Or, not credence, what's the word? Legitimacy. Hey, Dragonflies, this information's a thing. Please stop. What level am I in Pokemon Go? That one's easy. Right now I'm 26. Also, another question that's been flying around, and I actually want to answer this one in this particular stream, is where did your name come from? How did you get your name, or how did you think of your name? And that's actually a pretty interesting concept, and a pretty dark story. But how I got my name is when I was in junior high and high school, I was very much a hopeless romantic. And I wound up in a lot of bad relationships, and I was very much a poet when I was in junior high, high school, and early in my college years. And I had this habit of, any time I was with somebody, I would write poetry for them. And whenever I had a bad breakup, I had this cute little ritual of, not so much cute, but I would take all the poems I wrote for that person, and burn them in a way that would actually send ashes up into the sky, like fireflies. A couple of my friends had the, a couple of my friends explained it as essentially me burning away part of my soul that I had given to somebody else. Well, try 16 bad relationships in 2 years, and me creating emotional walls that nobody could get past anymore. The common way of explaining why I was so cold to everybody back then was, well, he doesn't have enough of a soul anymore to actually act like a human. Because I really didn't. I was always withdrawn. I was really quiet. I absolutely hated my life at that point in time. Now, back then, my nickname was Kit because a lot of other freaking nicknames I had either were ones I never wanted to associate myself with again, or just flat out didn't like anymore. Kit is the one that always stuck. So, one day I decided to use the username Kitthesoulless, and it stuck. So it's kind of a sad reason to use that name, but it's one that I very much like because it reminds me of my past. And in my opinion, one of the reasons why I had it to begin with was, yeah, it was a really, really depressing reason. But I like the username. I really do. And I guess it's kind of more... The username itself used to hold some pretty bad memories for me. But ever since starting my YouTube channel, ever since hopping into a bunch of different social situations with this username, I've turned it around, and it's really... It's the reason why I still use the username, is because I like it. But yeah, knowing its origin, it's a little depressing. But, oh well. What's my favorite YouTube? I didn't know there was more than one YouTube. No, I think they meant what is, my favorite YouTuber. And honestly, that would probably be hard to answer. If I had to pick anyone, just because they're one of the ones I originally started watching was Jacksepticeye. And between him and Markiplier, they were literally the first two YouTubers I ever watched, other than just little OAVs. And yeah, they were my first YouTubers that I subscribed to, and they're the ones I probably watched the most. What's my real name? That would be Kit Kilovaris. And for now, that's the only name you guys are going to ever hear when referring to me. The reason for this is because I've gone to great lengths to keep my legal name off the internet. Yeah. Okay, so my buddy Andrew asks, Oftentimes my household sponges accumulate an awful amount of buildup. What can I do to prevent this? You guys, just for shits and giggles, I'm going to answer this one. But one of the things you can do is, once every, like, month or so, soak them in a mixture of white vinegar and water. Usually it's 3 parts white vinegar, 1 part water. Do that. Toss them into the dryer afterwards, all at once. Not with anything else, just all of your sponges all at once. Toss them in the dryer afterwards, let them dry. The vinegar acts as an antiseptic and will kill all the crap that's essentially soaked up in your sponge. Anyways, what's my favorite game between 2014 and 2017? Oh, that's a broad freaking question. I don't know, was Dust made between then? If it was, I'd have to say Dust and Elysian Tale again, because it's either that or any of the Dark Souls games that were made in between then and now. But really, it's hard for me to pick a favorite game, because I've played so many, and I really like the storylines separately. It's really hard to pick a favorite game out of all of them without, choosing a specific genre. If you asked what one I had from a specific genre, that would be a lot easier for me to answer. Have you played Counter-Strike Go? If so, what's your thought on the game? I have not played CSGO, sadly. I did, however, grow up essentially playing the original Counter-Strike. And it was a good game, but it was a flawed game. How did I get my name? Kitthesoulless? Well, Kit was a nickname given to me in high school shortly after my last nickname, which was really embarrassingly Spike. And the reason being was because I had a bunch of friends who were Buffy the Vampire Slayer fans, and I used to have short, really bright blonde hair and used to wear dark clothing. And used to be a lot skinnier. But no. How I got the nickname Kit was a couple of my friends realized I really like foxes, so they nicknamed me Kit after something called a kit fox, which is a tiny, fast-moving fox. Because I was the dude that was walking around the campus, being able to get from one side of the campus to the other in less than 2 minutes, walking. You look like a YouTuber from Portugal. I'm actually from the United States. Oh, dang. So Dust can't be counted in that last, in one of the last questions. Dragonflies, how can I start a channel like you? You'd be surprised, but how I started my channel and how I still do my channel, my only recording device is, I've got my phone, which you guys are currently on, and, folks, for all of my actual weekly content, like all my daily content, things you see from day to day, that's my camera. And yes, it is what you think it is. That is a Kinect. So I literally have a Xbox Live, a Kinect, and had an Xbox Live, a Kinect, and a cell phone. That's how I started this channel. I still record all of my content other than my live streams from Twitch and port them over to YouTube after the streaming is done. because I do not have a computer capable of using a capture card. Do I like Portuguese YouTubers? I would if I could understand most of them. I think there are a couple Portuguese YouTubers that I've seen that I thought were okay, but I don't remember subscribing to them. I really don't know. I can't really identify people from where people are from unless they tell me. So, quite possibly yes. Am I familiar with a band called Death Grips? No. Sadly, no. Do we have any other questions? Also, yikes, we've been going for an hour already. Favorite type of music? I don't have one. I guess if I had to choose, I don't know exactly. I can't really choose. I can tell you my least favorite is country, because there's only like two songs, maybe three total of the entire country genre that I will actually listen to. The rest of them just give me a headache. How old am I? I'm 29. Which gang do I belong to? Westside Furries. I'm sorry, that was a really bad thing to do, and I have no idea if that actually is a gang sign or not. I have never actually belonged to a gang, but I did at one point when I was really young, dated a dude who's part of the Norteños, which is a Mexican gang, I believe. Lucas Bennon just subscribed to the channel. Hey, welcome to the channel, man. Would I like to go to Portugal one day? There's actually a lot of places I would like to go, and believe it or not, Portugal is one of them. I like to study other cultures. I like to study cultures with rich history, and just to answer your question, yes, I would if I had the ability to get there without flying, and could find a freaking boat that got me out there safely. Yes. Or found a way to get there safely without taking a plane. Faded player. Wait, you're gay? Yes, I am. By the way, that was his question, not me asking him. But yes, I am gay, have been since I was 14. Actually have been all my life. No, have been all my life, but have openly been gay since I was about 14. Miguel dares me to paint my hair blue. I do believe, first off, you mean dyeing my hair blue, and at some point I was actually considering dyeing my hair blue. But, I went with red, because the only blue I could have gotten would have looked black on my hair. So if I can find a proper blue, then yeah, I will. Which would probably fit a lot more, seeing as I am a Mystic player on Pokemon Go. Also, hey Lucas, got a question for me? Anyways. Oh, hey Poisonawa, welcome to the stream, man. Valor wants me to keep it red to represent. Represent Team Valor. Actually, the reason why I chose red is because it's kind of one of my favorite colors. A faded player. I take it you're a Mystic player. Dragonfly, your obsession with misinformation and Muslims is starting to get annoying. How to have a badass beard like mine? Grow one. Seriously, just reach into your face and pull it out of you. Ow. That actually hurt a little bit. Anyways. So, personally, I don't have any problem with any particular religion, any culture. And actually, I know a lot of people who are Muslim who are fine with the fact that I'm gay. Seriously, what most people do with the whole concept of anybody from the Middle East or anybody from anywhere is they take the views and opinions and actions of the loudest, most annoying part of that culture and assume that it is literally the views of everyone in that culture. Good example would be with furries. The worst aspect of the furry fandom is what is referred to as a mersuiter, which is, yes, a person who dons a fursuit and goes out and fucks in a fursuit. That is the one aspect everybody knows about furries because it is what media picked up because it's entertaining. And it's maybe 1 to 2% of the furry community. Gamer Toddy, are you single? No. I'm actually engaged, so I've actually been with Avia, my mate, for almost, actually, I think a little over 12 years now. Also, folks, please try to avoid cussing on the channel. I do know I cuss from time to time. Please, don't follow suit. Do I like PewDiePie? I liked some of his earlier content a lot better. He's a little too angsty for me now. I do still watch some of his content, and not so much, correction, not angsty. He's more, he's got a little too weird for me. Do I have any legendary Pokemon? I've actually not been able to catch any legendary Pokemon lately. I've been trying, but haven't managed to catch any. I've done a couple raids, but never managed to actually get the catch. Oh, hey, Mr. Cool, it's completely fine, man. Watch Hunter Avalon? I'm gonna have to, hold on. I have to look that up. Give me just a second. That sounds familiar. he's another YouTuber. Maybe. Actually, yeah, I have been answering a lot of fun questions. As for how is it going, it's kind of fun, actually. I don't know, it's a wee bit liberating, being able to answer questions that are asked. And really, I've been able to answer pretty much everything that's been asked, except for maybe one question, and that was the gibberish question. Anyways, who else has a question? Ooh, and actually, we're close to running low on time. Who here is French speaking? Sadly, not me. I know enough Russian to get by, sort of, but I really only speak one language. Do you have video game character quotes that you like? My favorite is, "Are we rushing in or going sneaky beaky like?" I have no idea what that's from. Oh, dude. Okay. So, folks, lovely plate collection. It can be yours for the price of $5 mil. Sorry, they're actually not something I would sell. They were a gift from my grandmother, and my grandmother knows I very much like wolves. Out of all the animals I like, wolves, ferrets, and foxes. Those are the top 3. And this is not counting dogs or pets. So, these were actually given to me by my grandmother. They're all part of the same collection. They actually make up the entirety of the collection, except for this little beauty. This is the last part of the collection that is connected to those plates right there. So, not for sale. Never will be. Oh, Lord. Hold on. Oh, that would explain why I've never heard that quote. Dang, Jonathan. 14 years old and already speaks 4 languages. You would be loved by just about everybody in the U.S., or at least every employer. Sorry about that, folks. That particular axe is actually ceramic. If y'all want to see something else that's a little bit worse than that, give me just a second. And to answer that other question, yes. There we go. The lava lamp is really nothing special. Give it about 10 minutes and it'll probably kick up the wax. But it takes a long time to start up. Now, folks, this is another bit of information about me that most people don't know. I am a weapons collector. This is another reason why I'm not afraid of going outside at night. You think having an axe on the wall is creepy? This is one of a collection of 50 swords, knives, and axes. actually kept in sheaths most of the time. These are not things that I would condone pulling out and playing with. The only reason why I actually pull them out is because I've been trained with swords in several different situations, both in martial arts and in actual sword play. From God, I can't remember specifically what it's called, but European sword play. My favorite LucasArts point-and-click adventure game. I think that's kind of a loaded question, because I only know one of them. At least I think I only know one of them. Oh no, correction, no, I know two, I think. Was Grim Fandango LucasArts? If not, then it would have to be Full Throttle. Not so much a ninja, actually. I was trained more like a knight than anything else. Do I know Jake Paul or Logan Paul? No. Actually, I don't. That's another thing, is, folks, I answered this in another stream, but honestly, if I had the chance to meet a large YouTuber, or even a mildly large YouTuber, anybody over 1,000, I'd probably be the shyest person in the existence near them. I would probably just kind of succumb to this thing I like to call I'm small syndrome, which is kind of, I take on this mentality of I'm small, I'm insignificant, and I don't really matter compared to this person. And it does happen from time to time. In fact, it happened this year at BLFC. I had the chance to talk to two of my favorite furry YouTubers, and I couldn't even so much as say hi. So, fated player. I don't actually know what that word means. A little bit. A little bit, yes. Not so much just a shy fangirl sort of thing. I'm shy in general. You have no idea how twitchy I am. Just my feet are moving constantly right now because it's not exactly comfortable me being up in front of a bunch of people. Even just 11 people right now, it kind of weirds me out a little. Just a little. Hey, Mr. Cool, thanks. Do I have a Nintendo Switch? No, I don't. Kind of want one, but kind of don't, because of all the incompatibility problems, and the fact that you can't transfer data yet. At least, not that I know of. I also have a big problem with the fact that they've been putting the world's most bittering agent on their games. So I had the misfortune of getting my hands on one of the early Switch games, and I didn't know to wash my hands after touching it because somebody showed me, hey, check it out, check how small this thing is. I ate a sandwich after that, and I couldn't get that taste out of my mouth for about 4 hours. Have you ever heard of Super Smash Brothers? Yes. I don't know a gamer alive who hasn't. Oh God, Jonathan, why would you do that? No, they actually put this stuff, or I didn't know they still did it, but they put this stuff on Switch game cartridges that is insanely bitter. And that taste will not come out of your mouth for about 4 hours unless you do a lot to get it out. Here's the thing, and I know I'm going to get my gamer card or my gamer license revoked for a little bit. I haven't played Super Smash Brothers. I just never really got into the game. But no, I never had a system that could play it, and I played it once, I think, with a friend of mine, and just I couldn't get into it. I'm not so much a fan of fighting games or arena games, folks. I mean, the closest thing to an arena game I used to play was COD and Battlefield, and even that, it's not the same. It's nowhere near the same. That's another thing. I don't know what characters there are in it. I think the very first one I played as Yoshi or someone. Oh, no! No! I played as Star Fox, or in particular, Fox McCloud. So other characters than that, I don't really know. And really, what character you play on that game boils down to what characters do you like. Because I know a lot of freaking characters have been put in there over the years. I don't know. That's another thing I don't necessarily like about the particular game, is because I don't like crossover games. I know there's that theory that all games occur essentially in one gigantic freaking universe, or in particular Nintendo games occur in a giant overlapping universe, but yikes. Faded player, nice joke. Okay, so, to be specific, that's not a Chihuahua, guys. That is what's called a fennec fox. Difference between a Chihuahua and a fennec: giant ass ears. I don't know, I haven't actually come up with a name with him yet. Or come up with a name for him yet. He's a gift from my mate from the last time he came over, and me and him actually have identical fennec fox plushies. So, as for the sunglasses, these are actually, I don't know if you can see it or even read it, but those are Further Confusion 2017 glasses. I got these because, well, I went to Further Confusion 2017, but in particular, I had a friend that I met there that I only got to hang out with for like maybe 10, 20 minutes a day. And when I was going to leave, I met him as I was walking out the door, and he walks up and goes, dude, where are your souvenirs? I didn't get any. Well, here. Take it. But honestly, I don't know what I'm going to name him yet. I don't know. But he's actually one of my favorite plushies, so I don't know. It's probably why I'm taking so long naming him. He's also been very much a focal point for our little studio setup here. As you guys can see, turning him into a cool fox is a hard thing to do. Those glasses don't like to stay on his head. Who's my favorite minion and why? Wait, are we talking about the little yellow minions? Really? Yeah. And thank you, Lucas. I don't know any of their names, so I really can't have a favorite. Do I have Overwatch? No, actually I prefer to play Paladins. I know, that makes me sound a little bit like a hipster. I didn't like the idea, though, of buying a video game for $60 that was, at the time I would have bought it, super hard to get a copy of, had fairly laggy servers because everybody and their mother played it, and had zero storyline. I wasn't going to pay full price for a game that has no story. So I just stuck out for Paladins. And honestly, between the two, I have played both, and I do prefer Paladins, but if you want to stick a second or a third game into there, Gigantic is a lot of fun too. Roblox or Minecraft? I don't know. Really can't decide. Gamertati, thank you, but that's a little creepy. Andrew, you know better. Are you referring to the Telltale game, the other video games based on it, or the series? TV series, that is. Or the comics, or the cartoon they're trying to come out with. Answer the question by Mr. Cool. Yes, I know what The Walking Dead is. I'm actually in season, I think, 3 or 4, I don't know. They just dealt with the psycho dude from the large town that they found. Or rather, the large town that found them when they were holed up in the prison. But yeah. So, between Paladins and Overwatch, to answer Supercell here, I much prefer Paladins. Actually, that's a weird thing. Foxes aren't my favorite animals. In order from 1 to 3, my 3 favorite animals are, at 1, wolves, 2, foxes, 3, ferrets. But how did foxes become one of my favorite animals? They're just absolutely adorable. And, how to explain this? I like the fact that foxes have so many different vocalizations that they can do. As an animal, they have one of the most versatile methods of communication for their species. So they just kind of fascinated me, I guess. I'm still working a little bit on The Walking Dead. The only problem with that show is I can't watch too much of it without getting depressed. Because the character that I thought was going to be a nice, interesting character, or a, not the stereotypical, oh my god, what have I done, character, turned out to be a dip. I know there's a whole inner struggle thing, but when you make your character a dude who breaks down in the middle of a zombie apocalypse and has to be coddled by his son, that's not okay. Is Paladins free? Yes. At very least, it's free on Xbox Live. I don't know about any other platforms. I think it's free on other platforms. I don't know. Honestly, what character did I think was going to be okay? I don't know, but one of my favorite characters from Walking Dead was the blonde chick who, first runs into, Christ, I'm bad with names, the, African samurai chick. I'm bad with names. The one that gets separated from the group, the one that's, starts off as this prissy little, I have a gun that was given to me, I've never shot it, but I still have it, kind of person, and turns into a complete badass, and instead of asking somebody else to take her life when she got bit and was gonna turn, she said, screw it, took the gun and said, walk out, I'll do it myself. So, she's one of my favorites. She was one of my favorites from that particular series. Well, what's a good Linux distro for you? I don't know. There's so many and you have to find one for yourself. But it really, for me, it boils down to which one do you like to emulate? Windows, Mac, or do you want to actually have to use Unity? In my case, I want to get as far away from Windows as good, so I emulate the Mac with Ubuntu. Michonne, thank you. Thank you. That name was not going to ever come up in my head unless somebody popped it up on screen. Is getting a GoPro good for making vlogs? Yes and no. GoPro microphones are notoriously bad. Or at least the ones I've dealt with are pretty notoriously bad. As you'll notice, I'm actually hooked into a Singer mic right now, and I'm still on my phone. Anyways, sadly, folks, this is about all we can do for this Q&A. Thank you for all the interesting questions, and we're actually going to be hopping outside here in just a little bit to play Pokemon Go. Hey, Jewel Options! Welcome to the stream. You're actually joining right as this particular stream is about to die, and right as our Pokemon Go live stream is about to kick up in a little bit. To answer this last question, headphones or earphones, it all depends for me. See, when I'm gaming, headphones. In particular, a 6.1 surround sound headset, or 7.1 surround sound headset, with noise canceling ability and lots of foam to go around the ear, not on the ear. If I'm gaming or wearing... Sorry, that was loud. If I'm wearing a fursuit, though, it's going to be earbuds. Hey, Mr. Cool. You know, you're right. One day I will. I don't necessarily like Turtle Beach. My favorite brand is Logitech, actually. By the way, you're welcome. Anyways, folks, for now, this is Kitthesoulless signing off, and If you want to see our live streams, for our live stream for Pokemon Go, stick around, folks, because we're about to head out after this stream. All I gotta do is get my shoes on and probably change my pants, because I'm wearing. I know that sounded weird. I'm wearing pajama bottoms right now that dangle down past my heels, even when I'm in shoes, so I don't want to tear them up on the concrete. Anyways, until next time, everybody. Bye-bye.